What's up, y'all? What up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy DJ D Dub. It's your boy. It's the man, the smoothest DJ in the land. Your boy DJ D Dub. We here back with another Talk to Me Tuesday, sponsored by the Group by Faith T-shirts. Yes, get yours today. Get yours today. Get your Group by Faith T-shirt today. Just want to, man. Y'all see the topic. DMX, talking about DMX, the impact that he left, right? So we definitely want to get into that. Definitely want to talk about that. Rest in peace to the late great, the legend DMX himself. Man, he was definitely inspirational. Man, I learned a lot from him. Just from growing up. From me being originally from New York City. Actually, being around that era and being around the people that was, pretty much around him. Let me fix my headphones, but being pretty much around him was definitely you feel a lot of energy that he brought to the music industry, brought to just people's lives in general. And then as I get older and as I start to learn this journey as a father, I start to understand and realize like all the things he had to go through, right? And I want to make sure I'm correct. I want to make sure I'm correct that he had 15 kids. He had 15 kids. So just imagine that. Just imagine trying to juggle 15 kids and juggle life, juggle him being a artist, juggle him being a dad, juggle him being a husband, juggle like all of that, right? Him having substance abuse and him dealing with drugs and things like that. A lot took over him, right? A lot of things took over and tried to stop him. One thing that I learned from him is that he always believed in God, man. He always believed in God. No matter what it was, he always believed in God. He always believed that God was the sin of his life. He always believed that God was the reason why he was still alive. There was many times where he could have checked out, and God could have checked him out. You know what I mean? But every single time, God kept him, right? God kept him, and that's one thing I've learned, dealing with life. Like if you look at everything that you've been through, personally, if you look at everything that you've been through, you look at it like, yo, like God took me out of that. God got me out of that. If you don't think that by him portraying God the way he was and the way he was claiming God so much, if you don't think that he was challenged by the devil and by the enemy and by haters and by other people, man, you tripping if you don't believe that. And I believe wholeheartedly that he was struggling with a lot of stuff, because the stuff that I struggle with, just imagine him as an artist and just imagine me getting closer and believing in God and getting closer and increasing my faith, and to see that he was struggling as a big name, as a big artist. I'm looking at some of the videos that he even have, like some videos of him, like rapping, of him praying. Like one video I seen, he had all the celebrities and all of the A-list and everybody that was at this concert. He had everybody together and he prayed. He prayed for everybody. I seen another video where DMX they said that he was being chased by people backstage, and he stopped and turned around and looked at him and was like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And you seen it in the video and him like really speaking and being like real sincere of what he's saying, real serious about what he's saying. I thought that was dope. I thought that was awesome. Like to know that in the midst of all the things that he was juggling, that he still prayed to God and he still asked God for assistance. He still asked God for help. He still asked God to help him through his journey of being a father, of being an artist, of being a husband. That's hard. That's hard to be all of that while that's hard. That's hard to be a husband, to be a father, be everything in the midst of you being one of the biggest names, especially back in the day in the 90s. You know, his first album came out in the late 90s. So, you know, that era was huge. You know, the drug addictions and the crack era and all of that was still popping, was still popular. Like crack was still popping and it was still popular. And to know that he still got through that and he still made it through that was so dope, was so amazing. Like, I just think that I feel like we all not perfect, and he's a perfect example of that. Like, we're all not perfect, right? We're all not perfect people, but he was definitely an example to know that he wasn't perfect, but he still always talked about God no matter what it was. Okay, yes, he played secular music. Yes, he cursed a lot. Yes, he did things that was wrong. But come on, let's take the religion out of it. Like, he believed in God. Like, he believed in God, period. So let's just get all of that religion stuff out and just be thankful that he still was praying for people. Man, I was listening to Sweet Swiss Beats interview, and well, not his interview. He was talking about what X did, what DMX did, and what he used to do with his money. He said DMX made he had $30 million in the bank, and he still was writing in abandoned buildings. That's crazy. He was he was writing in abandoned buildings, right? He was still doing things, writing in abandoned buildings, and he still had $30 million in the bank. And he still humbled himself and started writing in abandoned buildings. He also said that DMX, he would go to jail just to have freedom. DMX would go to jail just to have freedom. And then you look at another episode, because you know I had to do my homework, because to be honest, I wasn't like on top of DMX all the time. If he had a new song or new album, I really wasn't on top of him like that. I think the last thing I really knew about DMX, that I really paid attention to, was the Ayana Fix My Life, when he was on there and he was trying to talk to his son. That was the only time I really like paid attention, because again, as a father, as growing up with two daughters and looking at that light as a father and seeing all the things that he was going through as a father, that's what kind of like I looked at it like, yeah, I got to start looking at him different. I'm not saying I looked at him crazy. Please let's not do that. I didn't say I looked at him crazy. I just looked at him like, I started looking at him different far as the way he was trying to reach his kids. I started looking at him in that light. Like, what is he tried to reach out to his kids. He tried to reach out to his son. He cried. He boohoo cried on TV, telling his son, man, I wanted so bad to have a relationship with you. Of course, his son was pissed. His son was mad. But he really said, man, I really want to have a relationship with you. And he owned that. He owned that. So for him to have 15 kids, and he said every single one he tried to have a relationship, he tried to build a relationship with. But of course, everything that was going on with him, the drug addiction, all these addictions that he had, of course, the people around him didn't want him to be around his kids, because they didn't know what type of person he was. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. I understand that. I understand that. If you get to where he's doing too much and he's acting different, and you don't know what type of person he's gonna act and how he's gonna act, I get that. But he still said it. Like, he still was gonna be there for his kids. He still wanted to be there for his kids. He still wanted to do for his kids. He still wanted to be a part of his kid's life, regardless of his situation. He always wanted to be there. So to know that he had $30 million in the bank, and he was writing in abandoned buildings and warehouses and homeless buildings and all this other stuff, and he was still writing. Another thing I got from it was like, he was talking to Busta Rhymes, man. It's a video where he was talking to Busta, and he told Busta, he said, stop being comfortable with it and just do it. Stop being comfortable. Like he said, I just do it. I don't ask too many questions. I don't worry about too much. He said, I just do it. That's what I do. I just have to do it. I can't just think too much on it. I just have to do it. And I think that's why he faces a lot of consequences, or he faces a lot of risky situations, because he just do it. DMX just do it. So he had to stop what he was doing and was like, man, and let people know, like, yo, it's just stop being comfortable. Just do it. It is what it is. Just do it. And um one thing that also Swiss B said, you cannot buy DMX. He said you cannot buy DMX. You cannot buy him. So a lot of people want to spend millions of dollars to get him. A lot of people want to spend millions of dollars to get him, but nobody could buy him because it wasn't about the money. He said that he gave so much money to charity, but nobody knew about it because that wasn't his main focus. His main focus wasn't being on the spotlight. His main focus was to be directly at his target, which was the people. I looked and seen that he was also still, he was doing meals. He was giving meals to kids every Thanksgiving. He would do a Thanksgiving dinner every Thanksgiving, right? So these are all the good things that we didn't really know about DMX. We knew that he was crazy and he was this and he was that, and like the past couple of years, we knew that he was battling drugs and he was battling this, he was battling that, but of course nobody talked about the good stuff that he was doing. Another one was like he said that he doesn't waste words. He said, I don't waste words. I don't waste words. Like I just, whatever I say, it comes out my mouth and it makes sense. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. Like what I say, it makes like it hits you. And if it hits you, then it hits you. Right. And that's what I had to learn. That's what I had to learn for as in my life. It's like words are important. What I say is important. What I say to the next person is important. It can help. It can make or break a situation. It can make or break a person, no matter what it is, no matter what situation it is. Right. I would love to talk about DMX as an artist, as a musician. He's poetic, man, and he's lyrical. The dude was praying in his raps and his songs. I looked at one interview. He said that he did 7 songs in one day. He wrote and recorded 7 songs in one day. Crazy. He recorded and wrote 7 songs in one day. But he also said he doesn't waste time with his words. He doesn't waste words. Like whatever comes out of his mouth is important. Whatever comes out of his mouth is true. Whatever comes out of his mouth, like, is real. And to know that if he went to jail just to have freedom, that goes to show that he was going through a lot, and he was not focused on himself. He was worried about other people and making sure everybody else is all right, and then he will get in trouble for it, and then he'll get locked up for it. I thought that was crazy to know that this is what he had to deal with as a human being. So to look at me and think like, man, like I see why I have it, but I could be in a worse situation. You could look at yourself, man, you could be in a worse situation. And maybe you feel like you are. But what can you learn from DMX? What can you learn from him that he still, out of everything that he went through, he was still let people know God is ahead of his life. God is a part of his life. He told you too. He was struggling. He was struggling with a lot of spiritual attacks. He was struggling with a lot of demons. He was struggling with a lot of people that was hating on him, struggling with a lot of people that wanted to let him go, wanted to see him dead. He told you all of that live. Any interview he had, he didn't sugarcoat nothing. Everything that he said was truth. Like I don't think he hid anything. Everything that he said was truth. So like when you say, man, that might be a little bit too much, to say on camera. He did it. He said it. And I think that's why a lot of people rock with him. And I think that's why a lot of people also are worried or was worried about him because he really had no filter. But at the end of the day, that's how we have to live. We are imperfect people. So in order for us to live, in order for us to go against what other people say or to live against everybody else's rules, we got to live by our own. We got to live by our own rules. We got to live by the rules that we have to create ourselves, or we have to go by what God tells us. And I think that's what he was doing. He was doing that. He was going by what God was telling him. But of course, that comes with a price. That comes with enemies. That comes with people that want to see him gone, that don't want to see him make money, that don't want to see him where he needs to be. So you, of course, you try to still poke him with some drinks. You start poking him with some alcohol. You start poking him with some drugs. You start poking him with different things. But it's like he still told you, regardless of everything he's been through, he still told you the real. He still told you, like, yo, this is me. This is what I do. This is how I'm coming. And at the day, like, I still serve God, and God still is the reason why I'm here. He told you that. That's one thing I loved about him, and I understood it. I understood that, and I resonated that with so much, and that kind of like put me back in the space of I don't care about what people think. I don't care. It is what it is. I don't care what people think. I don't care what they say. I don't care what people think of me. I really don't care, because we have to understand, like, it's not for the people that you're with. Like, you're here to serve, and you're trying to show people the real of what you've been through, what you're going through, like the behind the scenes. You want to show them everything, because for you to just show all of the perfect stuff, it's going to make you look like everybody else. So that's why I had to understand and really come to a conclusion of, all right, like, start telling people your story. Start telling your people your story of what you're going through and what's going on at the moment, right then and there. Like, don't wait until it's over. And I've always was like that with my music or my journeys. I was always where I was like, I don't want to just wait until the next person is going through something. I don't want to wait until I get 15 years down the road until I'm a vet in the game to teach you what I need to know. Now, I'm one of those guys where I want to teach you and show you along the way of what's going on. I want to show you along the way of how things can, how it can hurt you and how it can better you. What helped me to overcome the things that I've been through, right? So that's why we on this segment of Talk It To Me Tuesdays, because I want to talk to y'all, so we can all have a mutual conversation, because you never know, somebody's going through the same thing that you might be going through, or worse. But your words can help. Your words can matter in someone else's life. Your words can be that thing that can help somebody pull through. And I know for a fact, DMX had so many people that he can help. He has so many people that he was able to help push and grind and get them out of desperate times, get them out of depression, get them out of anxiety attacks, because he showed you that that's what he was going through. He showed you that. So if you didn't drink just as much as he did, or if you didn't smoke as much as he did, or if you didn't do drugs just as much as he did, you still learned something from him. You still learned something from DMX, right? The impact, the impact, the impact of DMX, right? The impact of DMX was crazy. He left so many. He left so many people. He left so many people like, yo, what's next for him? He left so many people like, what is he up to next? What is he gonna do next? Remember, he was there when Aaliyah was alive. When rest in peace to Aaliyah, when Aaliyah was alive and she died at 22. He was right there by her side. He was there with a lot of things. Like, he was making movies still. Why him being this crazy person, or him being this drug addict, or him being this, and he was still a dope artist. He was making movies at the same time. So he wasn't just doing music. He did movies, like back-to-back movies. And he was in some good movies. Shout out to Belly. He was in Belly, one of the greatest movies. Still one of the dopest movies. Right? And that's ageless. Belly's ageless. And that's one of his songs. I mean, that's one of his movies. It's Belly. That's he was in what's the movie with Jet Li? He was in a lot of songs. He was in a lot of movies, which was dope to know that he was still able to be a part of the culture, but still do his own thing. Still do his own thing. He was a part of the culture and still did his own thing, which is what you can't go wrong with that. Right. So what I learned as a person, what I learned as a DJ, what I learned as a human, what I learned as a father, what I learned as a husband, what I learned as just a person, I learned that we all not perfect. We go through a lot, but what we need to do is show the imperfectness. We need to show the imperfections. We need to show the things that we can help others push. I remember I was on a call today, and the things that I've been going through personally, it was just a talk. It was just a matter of me saying my story, and come to find out 3 or 4 people were literally going through the same exact thing I was going through. 3 or 4 people literally was going through the same exact thing I was going through. And I was like, wait, what? Like, all I had to do was speak and say what I had to say. And other people was going through the same thing. And it helped them to feel better in this situation, to know, yo, you're not alone. And I think that's what DMX also did. It was like, yo, you're not alone. You're not alone in this. All the millions of people that follow me, all the millions of people that, like, he wasn't into the followers. He wasn't into you fans. No, he loved you as a person. If he was able to get to know all millions of people that was his fans, I think he would try to introduce himself to every single person. So I think that's why this is like so impactful. And now I'm looking at his interviews again. I'm looking at his conversations that he has again. And when I was looking at his most recent one, when he was in the hospital, and he was even talking then. He was even talking then to some people, and he was just talking about, like, there's a lot of devils on his back, and the devil's on his back, but God is always present. God is present more than ever. He always said that. And that's one thing I always started to have so much more respect for him, because he always knew who God was. He always knew who he was. He always knew that there is a God. He always believed in God. He always believed that God is the reason why he was still alive. There's so many stories where he could have been dead and gone a long time ago, but the fact that he's still alive is amazing. The fact that he's still alive, he was able to still do things. Again, due to circumstances, God called him home. But while he was here on earth, he did a lot of impactful things. Just because you didn't hear about it doesn't mean he didn't do nothing impactful. He was one of those behind the scenes guys. So to know that he said, stop being comfortable and just do it. To know that he went to jail just to have his freedom. He was going through a lot. Just to know he had $30 million and he was still writing in homeless buildings and writing in other places. And he didn't have a big house. He didn't have a big car. He didn't have a lot of things. He didn't have big jewelry. He didn't have all the stuff. He gave everything to his kids. He gave everything to his wife. He gave everything to his girlfriend, whoever it was. He gave to them first before he had for himself. And that's what I've learned. He done a lot for people. He done a lot to help people. He done a lot to show people the real him. He showed us the real him the whole time. The whole time he's been alive, he showed us the real him the whole time he's been alive. Which I think is crazy, because we don't see that. We don't see that from people. We don't see that from the whole time he was alive. He showed us his flaws. He showed us the negative. He showed us the positive. But a lot of people were so focused on the negative because he was going through situations with his family. He was going through situations with his son. He was going through situations with his wife. He was going through situations with all these people that people didn't look at him. Of course, he gained new followers. He gained new followers when he was on Ayana Fix My Life, when he was trying to, have his rekindle relationship with his son. So he gained new followers then, but they didn't know the real DMX. They didn't know the real him, right? I'll be honest, a lot of songs that I loved from DMX, I loved when I was growing up listening to it. And then sometimes I had to slowly back out from the songs, but then I had to realize, like, no, he's showing you how imperfect he is. He's showing you how the flaws and everything that he's going through. He's showing you that. He's showing you that. He's showing you all of that. So for him to show you that and to still make movies, for him to do that, to still make albums, for him to do that and still make singles, for him to do that and still be the man that he was, and on his deathbed, I guarantee he probably was still trying to reach out to people, and he was still trying to be there for people. That's called serving. That's called serving. He was serving. He served all his years that he was here. DMX served all the years that he was here. He was serving. He was serving. So to know that he was serving and he showed you everything from top to bottom. Top to bottom. Like, he showed you everything. That just goes to tell me, like, okay, I can keep going. I can keep going. But what I need to do more is show you the real. What I need to do more is show you more of the real. I need to show you more of the behind the scenes, more of the bloopers, like more of the things that happens behind the scenes to get to where I get to. Like me and a friend of mine, we was recording something, and we was going back and forth and joking because people don't really show how many takes it takes to do a video. People don't understand that. As like I'm creating videos, when I'm creating things, people don't understand how many times you have to press record. People don't understand as a MC or as a DJ, or if you're doing anything, you don't know how many takes it takes to do that. When you're doing a TikTok, when you're doing a reel, when you're doing anything, when you're doing a Facebook post, when you're doing a selfie, you want that perfect picture because you don't want to put an ugly picture on Facebook. You don't want to put an ugly picture on Instagram. You ever FaceTime somebody and it's first time you FaceTime and you look at them, and mostly y'all women, but I respect the women. But first thing you get on the FaceTime, oh, excuse my hair. So why are we on FaceTime? Excuse the hair. No, I gotta fix my hair. Let me wrap my hair up. So why you just didn't call me? Why were you FaceTiming? You know what I mean? But I get that. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But we also have to look at the imperfections. Like, so what? So what? Like, you might go viral because your hair is to the left. So what? I might need you. I might need you the time when your hair is where it's at. I might need your information. I might need your advice. I might need that. So I'm gonna just wait until your hair is all done for me to. You never know what state I'm in. You never know what state another person is in. DMX is a perfect example. You never know what state a person is in. And he's been in the state all his life. He's been in that same state all his life. You never know what type of state a person is in. And he showed you all his life where he's been at in his headspace all his life. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but just to know that Swiss Beats said he would go to jail just to have freedom. That's crazy. That's crazy. He would go to jail just to have freedom. But then I also learned that when he went to jail, that's where he got most of his music from. That's where he wrote most of his music when he was in jail. He was able to write a lot to bring him back to that space, to bring him back. He said it reminded him when he was in his room. So every time he would go to jail, it would remind of him being in his room and writing, being in his room and writing. So the question is, did Did he go to jail all the time just to be in his just to be in a space where he felt like he was in his room? It's crazy. Did he feel like he had to go to jail just for him to go right? Did he feel like he had to go to jail just to write him a song, or just for him to feel like he's normal? Because outside jail, he probably didn't feel like he was normal. He probably didn't feel like he was good. He probably didn't feel like he was a person he needed to be because he was there for everybody else. But to know now that he went to jail just to sit down and rest. That's like us when we do too much and we move too much, that we gotta go to a beach somewhere, or we gotta go somewhere else in order to collect our thoughts. That's most of us, right? But to know that it was the opposite for him, he had to go to a prison. He had to be locked down in prison in order for him to feel like he was at home. That's crazy. That makes me think like, man, just this little space that I'm in, my little studio space that I'm in right now is enough, right? That's crazy to think that you gotta go to jail for that. So just imagine all the things that he had to face. Just imagine all of the trauma that he had to endure, or the things that he had to help other people with. Just imagine the stories that he had to listen to. Just imagine that. Just imagine the things that he had to go through, but he's so much of a people person and he's so much of a server that he had to listen to other people's stories. Just imagine the stories he heard. I wish we was able to listen to that. I wish we was able to see that type of DMX, listening to other people's situations and how he handled them, because he couldn't really tell anybody his side of the story because he was so much into people. And I'm the same way, so I know exactly how he feels. I'm so used to being there for other people that if I got to be there for somebody, got to be there for me, it's not that easy, right? It's easy for somebody to talk to me, but it's not easy for me to talk to someone. It's easy, super easy for someone to come to me, and I'm a listening ear. But it's not easy for me to return a favor and talk and have somebody listen to what I gotta say. I gotta do better with that. I gotta do better. That's why this year I've been asking for stuff. I've been asking for help. I've been asking for advice. I've been asking for this. I've been asking for everything. I've been asking for a lot of things these past year and a half, because I have to. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be stuck. I'm gonna be stuck. So just to know that the impact that DMX laid, and I hope this helps someone. I hope this gives you a different perspective of who he was, because it sure did with me going down the years. I hope the Ayana Fix My Life fans, they see him a little bit different, that you know him before that. I hope y'all know him before the Ayana Fix My Life with his son. I hope y'all knew DMX before that. I hope you know who he was as a person. Again, it's 2021, so please go on YouTube and go check it out. Go check it out. Go check out what he had to say. For a lot of people, what he did for a lot of people. There's a lot of artists that talked about him and talked about the goodness and all the good stuff that he did for people, and how he touched a lot of people. So hopefully his story or other people's stories can touch you and help you and make you understand, and it sure made me understand that in this journey, in this thing of life, there's a long way for us to go. And for us to keep at where we need to keep at, we got to look to the person that created us in the first place. We got to go to the person that created us in the first place. We got to go to the one that helped us in the first place become the people that we are, to become the person, to be impactful, to be the person that we, of a serve, like of a servant. Like, we here to serve, right? We here to serve, and he was there. He was here to serve, and to know that he left a good mark. He left his mark here. He left his territory here, and he impacted so many people's lives. It's so dope. So, yeah, I just wanted to get on here. This Talk to Me Tuesdays with your boy DJ D Dub. Just wanted to talk about the impact that DMX left. Rest in peace to DMX. Hopefully this live helped you. Hopefully this segment helped you. This Talk to Me Tuesday helped you. Be on the lookout every Tuesday at 9 p.m. I go live and talk about my different artists. And then, if you have anything you want to talk about, you can always shoot me a message. You can always hit me up in my direct message. You can hit me up. You can send me a private message. You can hit me up on at my email at it's djdub@gmail.com. You can get on my website, check out some mixes, check out some things on instagroovement.com. You can subscribe to my mailing list. You can be part of my mailing list. This episode was also sponsored by the Groove by Faith t-shirts. Wish Your Groove by Faith story. We see a lot that's going on in the world today that's so tragic. A lot of shootings, a lot of weather-related issues, a lot of things that's going on now. And so what are you doing to groove by faith and don't live in fear? So if you have that type of story and you got that kind of story, I would love to hear it. I have a series that's coming out or that's already out. It's called Music Gets Me Through. That's out. I had just interviewed one of my good friends. That interview is going to come out very soon. I have a whole lineup of artists. I have a lineup of artists and people that I'm going to interview. So if you want to be a part of this Music Gets Me Through series, where music is bringing you through and is helping you through this challenging time, or just in life in general, what has music done for you as a kid? What has music done for you as a teenager? What has music done for you in high school? So all of every age range, I need y'all. I need to hear y'all story. And again, I said it earlier, other people need to hear your story too. So it's not just me. I'm always interested, but the goal is to let everybody else hear your story on what music did for you and why is it so important. So if you do have that story, please reach out to me, send me a message, and we're going to get you on to the Group by Faith series. All right. So again, this is D-Dub checking in, checking out. It's your boy, the man, the smoothest DJ in the land. And with that being said, I highlight you guys, and I see y'all next week, Tuesday at 9 o'clock. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Love y'all.